Hi Geoff, great to be here at PSL Datatrack here in sunny Bracknell. Though it is sunny, it is rather cold out there.
It is, I think it was -9 this morning, yeah. Jason, thanks for taking the time to come and see us.
That's been great. And we've already had a super discussion already about Brentford FC.
As always.
Probably one of the best teams in London, which I'm sure we could carry on talking about all day.
I'm sure we could.
But we're here to talk about sustainability in manufacturing. And how digitalisation and streamlining of the administration of the manufacturer. I can get my words out there, could I? It was a bit of
that shows it's hard to say administration.
Within sustainability and how that affects. So we talk about sustainability, which often frightens a lot of people. They think, oh, here we go, it's going to be know, cost on environmental side on the business. But really what sustainability means in manufacture is obviously there is a very important part on the environmental side. And then we have the economy and society. So I'd like to sort of start with your feelings about how digitalisation within the process means in what impact it could actually have to environment.
Yeah, well, in terms of administration, the obvious saving there is going to be paper. You're going to generate less paper if you can do things digitally on the screen. So you can print out minimal documents because you can track things on the screen. You can obviously send things via email and so on rather than printing things out. Everyone's got those sort of benefits one way or another. Then you've got planning and workshop control and so on. Scheduling, for example. Now, lots of machine shops will print out work to lists, what's got to be done on different machines. It's out of date as soon as you printed it. In Datatrack, we have status boards, which take that live feed from the data and show you the planning, what's got to be done on each machine. And that can give you various statuses, where the gauges have been allocated to a job, whether materials are available and so on. So it's about giving that visibility.
Reams of paper, here we go, we've got to print out another load of paperwork.
Yeah.
We're reducing the impact of that by having it live data all the time.
It's the visibility, it's sharing that information.
Yeah. Obviously that's a very important side, but within the actual planning, we talk about power, one of the critical factors in the business, and how we can reduce this and materials. So how can you help with this then?
In terms of power, you've got power, even when the machine's doing nothing but it's turned on, it's consuming power, you've got power from your compressor and various other pieces of ancillary equipment. So what you want to do is obviously maximise the amount of time the machines are running, making components. So setup times, how can you minimise your setup time? If you pre-kit, so you can define tool setup sheets through Datatrack, what tools you need when a machine or when a component goes on a certain machine, estimated tool life, making sure you've got all the tools you need for that batch run. Making sure the setters don't end up waiting for tools. Make sure the machine isn't waiting for tools. So that kind of organisation is great.
Yep.
You've also got material planning. Making sure you've got the right material, the right spec, the right sizes available at the point the job needs to start. Otherwise, again, you reduce the amount of machine spindle time.
So so now we're having an impact on machine power.
Yeah.
Because we're actually making that more efficient. So we're utilising it better.
Yeah.
We're reducing setup times. Again, critical part of any business, get things set up as quickly as possible. But again, the power consideration there, and the machine's working, and also what you're saying on the last factor was the materials. Again, materials is critically important that we don't have wastage in the business, and another thing that really affects sustainability, environmental. So we're already impacting on quite a good few things there. One of the areas that I did notice was that, with deliveries into companies, everybody's deliveries in and out of companies all the time, materials, various parts, various things. I guess digitalisation can consolidate this a lot, and that has an impact. I mean, maybe you could just sort of broaden us a bit more on that.
Well, certainly in terms of if we focus on materials and tooling as the two main things that are going to be the resources coming in. So if you can forecast, you can see, the system can help you see what materials you need for the jobs coming up. You make sure you get those materials ordered in an organised manner rather than last minute. Same with tooling. If you can forecast what you need for the next week, next couple of weeks, get those tools in one batch now rather than going for a delivery every day, paying delivery charges every day, having that van moving somewhere every day. Why not make it more organised? Take away the chaos.
Yeah, and that sounds, again, something that we've really got to consider in how our buying methods and how that can have an impact as well. So some really key points there that I can see straight away that's sort of raising itself there. A lot of people though, they come to, oh, here we go, it's going to be a big cost, to the business. In my view, the sustainability answer is through technology, investing in technology, but it's also investing in technology that makes us more efficient and in the long run more profitable. And again, I guess this kind of your software there really helps on this side.
Well, let's face it, how many SMEs, subcontractors, do you come across that don't have spare people? They don't these days. People are expensive. So you want to deploy your resources in the most cost-efficient manner. So rather than have them spend time doing things that a system can help with, you can deploy them adding more value to your business rather than just moving bits of paper around. So take, for example, if you had a business where you're sending a job out for plating, you've got somebody in admin that has to stop, go and ask the key engineer, what's the plating process? Well, don't do that. The system can tell them. There's no interruption. They get on with their job. You have somebody else then get on with their job. So it's all about giving the right information to the right people at the right time.
Yeah, and that's sort of streamlining everything, isn't it?
It is,
and
yeah.
A critical part of efficiency as well.
Yeah.
We also, we look at how we're going to get, we've had this discussion quite a few times with a lot of people I speak to, obviously when we're doing oil and coolant saving within businesses, is actually getting people involved, new people into engineering. It's a fabulous industry. We've got some latest, your technologies, machine technologies, automation, and so forth. Which and we're still very busy with a lot of the industry. Whether it's aerospace, medical, automotive. We're still the innovators and going forward. Yeah. So this sort of but one thing often discussed is the lack of people and skills coming into it. And I guess again, even looking at digitalisation, it makes it more attractive. For people coming in, say, I'd love to have a career in that. It isn't all great big wheels and grease on the floor and where's that paperwork with that job. No. Again, maybe you could sort of discuss that a little bit with the.
Well, certainly in terms of, like you say, about the industry, the high-tech machinery that exists now is actually really quite exciting to look at. For youngsters coming into it or anyone coming into it, to be honest. If you look at the admin side, so many businesses that rely on spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets, the lovely Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, great, you can do anything with it, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
So you've got the chaos of it. So if somebody comes into a business and you've got an organised system in place that gives them the security of what they need to do, gives them the information and control for what they need to do, rather than opening and closing spreadsheets, it's going to make them feel like they're joining a business that's better organised, better managed, that has foresight in where they want to go, and that has future, rather than just sticking with the old ways.
I think that also allows everybody to get involved.
It does.
Well, because we talk about sustainability. It isn't just up to one person. It's a buy-in from everybody in the business, really, to improve things. And like we're all doing at home with recycling and power and stuff like that. It's exactly the same in the workplace, and we've all got to make some major efforts to get our carbon footprint down over the coming years. So, when you see, you can go into a company, you can see, if you're working, you can see what work's coming up. You kind of know what business you've got there. You think, crack, this is exciting. We've got these jobs coming up. We've got this projected. But it isn't just one person either knowing all this and saying, right, we've got to plan this, we've got to do this. It can then be made available for all people to get involved with and manage better, I guess.
It can, and I think what we've seen is certainly feedback we've had from various customers when we put in these status boards for the shop floor control and progress and so on.
They look brilliant.
And it's the feedback though has been such that the guys in the workshop now, rather than thinking, that's right, just buy a bit of time, I'll go and find out what job's next, it almost drives them on because they can now see there's the next job. And it's not just one job they've got a whole long list of jobs, so they're not going to run out of work. Keep going, push on. It's almost like they're trying to beat the board in terms of, that's my next job, I must start it now. And it's great, you just see them buy into it.
And it also helps with the skill side of things, because you don't have to have your main sort of production engineer doing that type of work. It can be addressed by all different types of skills in the business as well. So that helps, improve efficiency, people doing the roles maybe they more attuned to rather than the paperwork side.
Certainly, we recently introduced, in fact it's going to launch very soon, a contract review module into the system. Now that really takes the system up another level in terms of the accreditations that they can adhere to throughout the system. So that key resource, they can be involved in that contract review point if there's anything that's significant that they need the input to. But it's in a controlled time rather than when they're halfway through working on a job. Don't interrupt them. Let them work efficiently. Get them involved where you need to.
And that's so incredibly important. But moving forward with sustainability and investment into new technology, softwares, is that we can show sustainability having a major factor on this. Now, a lot of decisions are made on, if that machine's right for this, it can produce this work efficiently, quickly, which is critically important, and so making that profits on the product. But having a sustainability factor to measure this, justifiable on top of the return of investment, would surely also help contribute to making that decision going forward.
Well, it would do, wouldn't it? And let's face it, the more savings you can make in terms of efficiency, there's going to be that saving.
Yep.
Yeah, quite how you do all the calculations to show exactly how much carbon footprint you're saving. Okay, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah. I think that is something that will come.
Yeah.
You know, because I think, you know, when we look at the supply chain, and obviously the primes are going to dictate a lot of this along the line for SMEs, that they're going to require, you know, certain amounts of sustainability principles or environmental ISO. You know, there's certain accreditations. There's lots of things that companies are doing anyway. And lots of things they can pick up from just buying like bite-sized chunks of parts of digitalisation or a new product here and technology, that we can really see improvements on that side as well and going forward as well. So it's just picking up the bits and making sure that that all areas from SMEs going right up to primes all working together, and I think that's going to be key as well going forward.
I think truth is it isn't a burden. There are lots of positive benefits to get from these improvements. And it is a case, like you say, picking it off in bite-sized chunks almost, because no business has the resources to change everything they do overnight. But you can break it off in sections, in chunks, however you refer to it, and make those improvements step by step. Yeah,
I think that's quite a nice conclusion, actually. It's sort of rounding all of that. Is there anything you want to add to that, Geoff?
I guess really in terms of the bite-sized chunks, Datatrack as a product, as a tool is modular, and it's all about helping them, because of the modular aspects, doing things in the right stages, in the right time for them to actually make their improvements to their business.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Geoff. That's been great to talk to you today, and obviously we're looking forward to Brentford continuing their good performance, staying in the Premiership.
We certainly are.
Thanks, Geoff.
Jason, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.